It is everyone's favorite ranking system, Today's Top 5. Today's Top 5 is where Steve and I rank basketball or football things in a sports context, however we decide. Today we are doing the top 5 people with the most to gain from winning the Super Bowl. We talked about this in the past, but now we're here. We got the team, we got the people, and most importantly, we got the list. So Steve, you ready to go into today's top 5?
I couldn't be more excited.
Let's get right into it. All right, so here we have a look at today's top 5. Start at the bottom, working our way up. Number 5, Eagles fans. Now, why do we have Eagles fans? Well, look, I'm going to tell you. What can possibly be more Philadelphia than beating the Chiefs for their three-peat, stopping Patrick Mahomes from becoming the inarguable GOAT? You get revenge on a team that beat you from years prior, and for life, Eagles fans get to say to everyone, especially Chiefs fans, we stopped the three-peat. We beat Mahomes in his prime. We beat the team that nobody expected us to beat, and that was unstoppable. Like, there is nothing more Philadelphia than holding these powerful and eternal bragging rights over Kansas City and their fans.
Yeah, Eagles fans are it's the nicest way I can put this. They're a special breed.
Yeah.
They're a special breed. You always hear, going into the Eagles Stadium and you're an opposing fan, opposing team's fan. It can get a little sticky up in there. And, I think that especially for Birds fans, they are very prideful. And that pride, having something to stand on and being able to look any Super Bowl, any NFL fan, regardless of the team, we've won 5 Super Bowls. Yep, well, we stopped Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs from winning their third, so screw you.
Yeah.
Like, that is the Birds need that. They need it. The Birds need something. I think winning this Super Bowl would be even more significant for Eagles fans. It would be the single most significant moment in Eagles fandom history.
Over the Philly?
Bro, listen, beating Patrick Mahomes on his way to the three-peat with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, the context of this.
Yeah.
This would be, in my opinion, the single most important and meaningful win in Eagles fandom history.
All right. I mean, hey, you heard it here first, mate. What? I guess we'll see. Start off at number 5, Eagles fans. Number 4, Jalen Hurts. Now, look, Jalen, after getting his contract a few years ago, we had mentioned losing to Mahomes in the same game 3 years ago, having these last 2 seasons of being like, kind of weird, not the best. People are having some doubts and questions. Winning the Super Bowl would, how do you then question or say anything about or to Jalen Hurts when in his mediocre seasons delivering championships? This gets I wouldn't say gets the monkey off his back, but instead of just being right on top of him, it's kind of like dangling off his jersey. But Jalen Hurts can silence a lot of his specific and individual doubters and haters with winning this championship.
I'm going to quote a guy that you and me have talked about on this show before. My down year is another guy's career year, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, okay? Jalen Hurts can finally come out and say, hey, guys, listen, all of you who say I can't lead, all of you say that contract was a mistake, you're wrong. Here's my Lombardi, go away. This would be vindication and validation for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming in at number 3, Andy Reid. I believe very strongly in what I'm about to say. I will stand on the top of a mountain and yell this to people. If the Chiefs win this Super Bowl, Andy Reid solidifies himself as the greatest head coach in NFL history. Andy Reid is going to his 6th Super Bowl. Andy Reid has now taken 2 separate teams to the Super Bowl. And if they win this Super Bowl, it would be his 4th Super Bowl victory. Now, people are going to say, oh, well, Belichick has 7. Well, a lot of people question Bill Belichick. Was it him? Was it Tom Brady? Nobody's ever questioned, was it Andy Reid or was it Patrick Mahomes? Now, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is obviously the driving force of this team, but when you lose a Tyreek Hill, when you lose a lot of the big players that the Chiefs have lost, and you don't miss a beat, when you have the ability, when last year everybody was saying, oh, this is the year they can't do it, Kadarius Toney, all the drop passes, they don't have receivers, and yet they never missed a beat. That speaks to coaching as well. That speaks to great coaching and being able to use the pieces at your disposal to be able to get the job done, not relying on the greatest or now second greatest quarterback ever to win you their games. So Andy Reid, number 3, would be the greatest head coach of all time in NFL history.
And as you had mentioned, people, I think a lot of times, question Bill Belichick. And I think once Brady won in Tampa Bay, it became the answer was Tom Brady, not Bill Belichick. And also, I think Andy Reid has more of a direct effect. Like, I don't know how much Bill Belichick was throwing in X's and O's and making up schemes and rallying guys and like actually masterminding those game plans. I could be completely wrong. I just really don't know. I feel like Andy Reid has a more direct impact and more to do with their actual how and what they are performing on the field.
Here's what I would say. Bill Belichick is one of the greatest defensive minds in NFL history as a coach. But you're right. Offensively, a lot of those games were being won offensively, not defensively. But to your point as well, Tom Brady left and Bill Belichick's now coaching in college. So, I mean, who are you going to take?
When Brady left, those couple of years where Belichick was still around, oh my God, it was like he couldn't get nothing going with those guys, and an array of quarterbacks as well. So yeah, Andy Reid definitely has a lot on the line as well in the Super Bowl. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. With the Super Bowl win, Saquon Barkley will have had the single greatest season a running back has ever had. Probably should have broken Eric Dickerson's record if he played that last game. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl, we are going to assume it is on the back of Saquon Barkley and not Jalen Hurts and not a receiver. And Saquon Barkley also, with this Super Bowl win, will put himself as a cemented Hall of Famer. And after this season, there have been a lot of questions of where is his legacy and where is he ranking right now amongst other running backs. With the Super Bowl win, this projects him in a whole different landscape than what he had previously been in.
Barkley, in my opinion, in this Super Bowl, he gains the most, he climbs the most steps as far as legacy of anybody on this list, in my opinion, because he goes into a category where now not only does he have a legacy, because I don't think he had one before this season, but now he has a legacy. We talked about this when he was coming out of college. You had a friend that said that Saquon Barkley was going to be the best running back of our generation.
Yeah, Saquon would be the best running back of our generation. Yep.
Right, and that's the thing. And now we're starting to see that maybe that's true. With this win, does he finally take that next step over Derrick Henry, who has kind of been the reigning king since Adrian Peterson and those guys walked out? Almost passing of the torch, but it is the return of the king. I mean, he is right now the most exciting player in football to watch.
Yeah, and again, 2 things. 1, shout out Mikey Breslin, the person who made that prediction. He called that in Saquon's rookie year. That was not it was not yesterday. This was years ago he had said that. But also, Saquon would be the 8th running back in history to have won the Super Bowl MVP. First time that would have been done in almost 30 years. So it is something special what we are watching with Saquon Barkley this season. And a Super Bowl win and an MVP would just chef's kiss. And number 1 at the top of our list, Patrick Mahomes. And I think it is fairly obvious. I mean, as we had mentioned for how many times now throughout the last few episodes, he would cement himself as the GOAT, would secure the 3-peat. It would be what he has already done through his career, just adding icing on the cake. There would be not much people would be able to say to me that would get me to listen to a Tom Brady argument after this. And Steve, with this win, Bill Russell, Joe DiMaggio, Wayne Gretzky, Patrick Mahomes, the 4 people in the 4 major sports that have gotten 4 championships the fastest of anyone else ever.
Oh, wow.
That's the group Patrick Mahomes would be entering. So that as you had mentioned, Saquon is taking, like, he's going from like the 20th floor to the 10th floor, but Mahomes going from the second floor to the first floor. So while it is a smaller jump, it is a much higher one in that regard. So I think he is today's top 5.
That is a crazy stat, and shout out hockey. I'm the resident hockey guy here. Go the Great 8. But when you enter a category of the Gretzkys, of the DiMaggios, of the Bill Russells, you're talking about some of the greatest athletes, not just of their respective sports, but athletes, period, of all times, the most dominant athletes.
Yeah.
The guys that you tell stories about, the guys that are thought of as legends. Not only is he on that list, but that, to me, with a win, this is the most dominant start to a career ever by an athlete, period, ipso facto, end of story. We have said multiple times that LeBron James is the greatest American athlete of all time. With this win, I'm not saying by any means has he reached the longevity and echelon of LeBron has, but he opens a door to the conversation.
Yeah.
He opens the door to that list that you and me have made in the past of greatest American athletes ever. He's probably on that top 5. And if he's not on the top 5, he's very close.
There is a group that I've talked about, and I know I shared this with you, that I hold in a very separate regard, and that is undisputed, inarguable GOAT of GOATs. The Tiger Woods, the Michael Phelps, the Serena Williams, the Wayne Gretzkys. We are possibly talking about
Chestnuts.
With the Joey Chestnuts. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. That is now the where Mahomes could be placed. Because like LeBron Jordan, that is always going to be a thing. We could hit a point where Mahomes Brady might not be a thing. While it wouldn't be an argument to me, I think the sports world at large would still validate Tom Brady being the GOAT if you had him there. But again, he is adjacent to that group as well.
I mean, anytime you're on a list with Joey Chestnut, you're automatically.
You're at the pinnacle of your athletic career if you are being mentioned with Joey Chestnut. Absolutely. So to go back through today's top 5, most to gain from winning Super Bowl 59. Number 5, Philadelphia Eagles fans. Number 4, Jalen Hurts. 3, Andy Reid. 2, Saquon Barkley. And number 1, Patrick Kermit Mahomes. Today's top 5.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.